Welcome to the Christy Jones Show. This is your go-to podcast for living life to the fullest. I am a life and empowerment coach, speaker, and business owner in multifamily real estate. I am a woman passionate about helping others build a life that they truly desire. We'll talk about how to make the most out of every day, from setting meaningful goals to embracing the present moment. So join us as we explore the depths of living a life that is full of joy, purpose, and satisfaction. Hey there, welcome back to another week of the Christy Jones Show, where I'm on a roll here talking about the topic of success and the formula for success. So it's been a hot topic, so I'm going to keep going on that. But today, let's talk about being resilient. Let's talk about resiliency. I am here to tell you that being resilient is one of the most important qualities that you can develop in your life. And we can all handle to become even more resilient. I believe, you guys, resiliency, it's what separates the mediocre from the successful, the go-getters from the hangback wallflowers in life. So resiliency is so important. So what is resiliency? Let's talk about that first. The way I like to describe it is being resilient is your ability to bounce back after setbacks, to bounce back after something doesn't work out. It's your capacity to adapt to change. It's your capacity to overcome obstacles, to keep moving forward, even when things are getting really, really sticky. That's being resilient. I can think of so many times in my life where I've had to just pull myself up by the bootstraps, be resilient, and keep moving forward. I made a post the other day I believe it was on Instagram, about bouncing back and being resilient. And I realized that has really been a common thread in my life, a common factor. And I did a post on it, and it just really got my brain thinking about the importance of being resilient. And it's the good news is you can always become more resilient. So these are some of the really interesting things that challenges in life, what it gifts us. Like what it gives us. So when we go through tough things that don't work out, setbacks, big obstacles, things that look like, what hit the fan and it ain't going to work. Those are the opportunities that we get to really develop our resilient spirit. And I believe that it calls on us because that's the fire in our belly. That's what gets us back up, because there's times we fall short. There's things like the quote, fall down. Okay. There's no little perfect scenario where you're just going to skate through life. So there's going to be those moments. So it's your ability to bounce back, to get back up. And you guys, there's some things in life that, and I get it, like I've been there, that just I call it, kneecaps you. You didn't see it coming, and something happens. You didn't see this coming around the corner, and it just kneecaps you, takes you to the ground. And you think, man, I can't recover from this. I felt that way going through my divorce. Although I'm the one that initiated that divorce, because it was the right thing to do to leave the toxic marriage. But it's still not something that I saw myself having to go through in my lifetime. When the betrayal, all the things, right? You don't sit back and think that those are possibilities in your life. some of the things that can happen, people make choices. And when they make choices, there's consequences for those choices. And you don't think of all those things. You don't think that's going to happen to you. So times I felt kneecapped was going through that really difficult season. I talk about it in another podcast, so another episode, so I'm not going to rehash that. But and I would tell you what episode number it is. I can't remember, but I think it's like maybe number 3 or 4, if you want to go back and give that a listen. But when you get kneecapped, the death of a loved one, something suddenly changes in your life that you just didn't see coming. You did not see it coming. And those are times that, we just want to throw our hands up and just give up and just, I surrender, throw up the white flag. And when those big things happen, we have to go through the process. We have to feel the feelings. We have to deal with our grief, deal with those things. So that is very, very true. And there is a time and space for that. But when it's time to get back up and get back on the horse of life, that is where your resiliency comes in. So how do you develop resiliency? Like how do you do that? How do you become more resilient? Few things. I'll touch on 3 that come top of mind. One is your mindset. Your mindset's really important as far as how you're going to approach challenges, how you're going to overcome obstacles. Are you going to look at challenges as opportunities for growth? Are you going to look at these failures as lessons to learn from, to become better? So having a positive mindset and a belief system that to believe in yourself and also in your abilities, that's numero uno. So know that mindset. Next, I will talk about support system. I think a support system is super important when you are wanting to be a very resilient person. It's important to have people that you're close with, that believe in you in those moments that you're down on your knees and you're not believing in yourself. And having a solid support system is really important because we all are going to go through difficult seasons and we're going to have difficult days. And you're going to have those days where you doubt your ability, and you doubt yourself. And the bigger the challenge, the bigger the punch in the gut has been, it's hard. And so these are opportunities that you have to lean on your support system. And so you want to have those relationships in your life. The people that lift you up when you're feeling down. They give you that reality check when you need that reality check. Maybe you're not seeing something in a relationship. For instance, I'll use this as an example. When I was in my marriage and I wasn't seeing the forest for the trees because I was choosing not to see some of the bad stuff, those people that know you, sometimes they speak some truth and some wisdom. They help you remember who you are. Because if you've ever been in that situation where you've given up your own power, your own personal power. And I mean, I'm not talking like power, like ego power. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about if you've ever given up your own sense of worth and allowed someone else to define that for you. And you get caught in that cycle. And it's a hard cycle to get out of. Your support system, they're there to give you that whisper, to remind you who you are, how magnificent you are, the special qualities that you have. So if you've ever been in a situation like that, where someone has, or you've allowed someone to take that away from you, your support system is so important, because they're going to help remind you who you are. And sometimes we do need those little nuggets of encouragement and reminders, and that little bit of extra support, so we can regain our resilient spirit. And then last, I will say on resiliency, I'm going to talk about, there's many components to being resilient, but I've decided I'm going to talk about taking good care of yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup or an empty vessel, right? Like, if there is nothing in the cup, there is, when you go to tip it over, there is nothing coming out. So you have to take good care of yourself. Basic stuff. Like, it's very hard to be resilient and to rise up to the challenge. And when we've fallen to our knees, and we got to get back up, and we got to overcome the obstacle, we got to hit things head on. It's really hard to do that when you're flat worn out. You've got to do things like sleep, get good amount of sleep. You've got to eat well. You got to feed your body. You got to hydrate, drink enough water. I mean, these are basic things. But when you hit the big challenges in life, if you do, or even the smaller challenges, but anytime you're up against a mountain, you have to equip yourself. It's so hard to show up and be resilient in the times of battle if you're not taking good care of yourself. I know the word self-care is out there all the time, and I'm a big believer and supporter of it. But a lot of times when we say self-care, people think of all the foofy stuff, which I love getting my nails done. I love doing all the things. But I'm talking about taking care of yourself from a mind, body, spirit perspective. And a lot of that is just so basic. Sleep, eating, drinking water, taking time to recharge, taking time to unplug, quieting all the noise that's out here, all the chitter chatter, setting aside some quiet time so you can find some peace and really get in touch with your thoughts and just recharge. So when you do those things that I just mentioned, that is not being selfish. It is not, it's definitely not being selfish. What you're doing is you're fueling yourself, you're feeding yourself so that you can show up in life and be resilient when you need to be resilient. So it's essential for your well-being, and it's going to help you be your very best all the time, but especially, you guys, when times get tough. So when you're in a challenging season, you have to be doing all the things that you can think of to strengthen yourself, to strengthen your mind, body, and spirit. And that, a lot of that is just not neglecting your basic needs and making sure you're giving yourself those things. So mindset, support system, and taking really good care of yourself. So to sum it up, those are the three things that I really hope you take away from this conversation to make yourself better at bouncing back, at overcoming adversity. So remember, it's never about never falling down. It's not about, having the perfect performance in life, because I don't believe that exists. We're human. We're gonna have some bumps in the road as we go along. So it's not about perfect performance. It's not about not falling down. It's about dusting yourself off and continuing to move forward. Having the wherewithal to be able to do that for yourself. So Look at it like a muscle that needs to be developed. And it's not like you're one and done. You're always developing your resilient muscle. So as you do that, I want you to watch yourself become completely unstoppable. So I know you got this. All right, go make it a great rest of your week, and I'll see you soon on the next episode. Take care.